pilots. This is your captain speaking, and we're going to do a little bit of a scenic flight today. I'm not sure if I'm going to do some cuts with the video, but what we're going to plan to do is head out of North Las Vegas, and from there head over to towards the Grand Canyon and land over at Canyon Airport. So I've already got everything all set, and we're doing the Beach King Air. And yeah, we just got a nice clear day. Cruising altitude is going to be 11,000 feet. So first thing I always do is just go ahead and at least get my lights on, with the exception of the landing lights. I don't need those right now. And let's see, is there anything else I need to take a look at here? We don't want that. We want to. Just want to get my pitch. So there we go. Just want to get that taken care of, so that when we hit the autopilot, we'll be good to go. And let's take a listen on the ATS.
North Las Vegas Airport information, Oscar 1445 Zulu, wind calm, visibility greater than 20 miles, sky condition, few clouds at 3,500, temperature 112.1, altimeter 29902, visual, runway 30, right and visual, runway 30, left and use, landing and departing, runway 30, right and runway 30, left.
Alright, so we should be good there.
North Las Vegas, clearance delivery, H Kilo Juliet 7881, ready to copy IFR clearance to Canyon. H Kilo Juliet 7881, cleared to Canyon Airport is filed. Fly runway heavy, climate maintain 9,000. Departure frequency is 119.4, Squawk 0264. H Kilo Juliet 7881, cleared to Canyon Airport as filed. Fly runway heading, climate maintain 9,000. Departure on 119.4, Squawk 0264. H881, feedback correct.
Okay.
Contact ground on 121.7.
Let me just adjust the volume here. See if that helps out a little bit. Alright, so I think we're pretty much good to go.
North Las Vegas ground, H Kilo Juliet 7881 with Oscar, ready to taxi IFR. H Kilo Juliet 7881, taxi to and hold short of runway 30 left using taxiway Hotel Bravo Kilo, contact tower on 125.7 when ready.
We will
Taxi
do
hold short
such.
runway 30 left using taxiway Hotel Bravo Kilo, H881.
Okay. Gonna adjust the sound just a little bit more. Let's just see what that's like. Alright, I think we're good to go. By the way, in case you're wondering, there's an aircraft behind us, so we will not be pushing back, in case you're wondering. So, let's go for it. Always want to make sure you're checking with the ATIS and finding out what altitude you need to set your barometric pressure to, especially when you're flying out of high altitude locations, or where there's like mountains and things like that. So just something to keep in mind when you're flying. And we'll get airborne momentarily here, and we'll start our climb. What a beautiful day, though. I mean, I had downloaded the the Tour USA or whatever add-on just recently. More for the flight plans, but the problem I have with it, and if you're at all interested in doing this, is it comes with the Beechcraft Model 18, I think it is. It's an oldest aircraft from the 50s and 60s. And while it's a novelty or whatever, personally, I hate flying it. It's hard because of just the way that it is. You really have to, at least for taxiing and like takeoff almost, you have to be in the third person view because you just can't see. I mean, I guess you could hit one and do it that way and just eliminate the whole cockpit view. But, and landing is a little bit interesting too because it's got like a tail wheel on it. So it doesn't land like traditional aircraft. But the problem is that when you load up one of those flight plans, you automatically have to fly that aircraft. So what I've done is I load up whichever one I want, and then I end the flight, and then it saves it in the flight planner of what the airports are, and then I can select my own aircraft and just fly it with the aircraft of my choosing. So just something to keep in mind. So we're at, they said runway 3L, I believe. Yep, 3L. So I think we're good to go.
North Las Vegas Tower, Beach, Kilo, Juliet 7881, ready for IFR departure, runway 30, left. Beach, Kilo, Juliet 7881, cleared for takeoff, runway 30, left.
And we'll acknowledge
Cleared for
that.
takeoff, runway 30, left. Beach, Kilo, Juliet 7881.
I think we'll be okay with just 1 degree of flaps. That's the other thing. If you're taking off at higher altitudes, sometimes you really don't need the flaps because they're going to act more of drag, and you already got the thinner air. But I think we're okay here in Las Vegas. All right. So I think we are good to go.
North Las Vegas Tower, running November 6575, Whiskey 11 miles southeast
Start to
of Oscar,
rotate.
land. Mooney, November 6575, Whiskey, North Las Vegas Tower, make straight in, runway 30 left, altimeter 2992. Fly straight in, runway 30 left, Mooney 75, Whiskey. Beach 881, contact Las Vegas departure on 119.4. 119.4 for Beach 881.
There we go.
Las Vegas departure, Beach Kilo Juliet 7881 is climbing through 2,900 for 9,000. Beach Kilo Juliet 7881. Las Vegas departure, Roger, altimeter 2992. Beach 881, turn right heading 115, resume all navigation, climb and maintain 9,000. Turn right heading 115, proceed on course, climb and maintain 9,000. Beach 881.
Basically making a 180 here. Called heading bug. And I do have some of the realism engaged as well, and we can go ahead and hide the menu bar up there. I don't know why it takes 2 clicks to do that. That's so obnoxious. So, here we go. And then once we make that course change, there's Las Vegas right over there. That's where we just took off from. Keep the landing lights on just until we probably reach that 10,000 foot mark. Just another way of aircraft to see us. But there's Las Vegas, right there. Alright. Almost there. And then they said to resume own navigation. And so, once we make that turn, I think we'll just stay on this outside bubble here. Well, actually, we're in the airspace anyways. You know what, let's just, for haha, let's just take a look. I'm curious if this looks like Class B airspace. And do I get... It's Class B. No, it's not there. I don't... I'm just curious to see if we can figure out what the altitude ceiling is of the Class B that we're getting ready to enter into, but I don't see it on this. I guess I could pull up Sky Vector, but it's not like I'm overly concerned. We'll just not worry about it. So we're already in this airspace. I think we'll just pass up through here and then course correct over and start following the GPS. That's what he means by own navigation. Oops, you know what? I did not pay attention to what I was doing.
Turn left heading 090.
Yeah, I know, I made a mistake on
World
that.
travel 6764.
I went 150.
6,400. Descending 5,900.
I was supposed to be over here. That's my fault.
Approach, Roger. Altimeter 2.
Wasn't paying attention, but I'll take full responsibility for that one.
World travel 676.
We're in 150 instead of 115.
124.95. H881. Turn left heading 090. Climb and maintain 11,000. Going to 124.95. World travel 6764. Turn left heading 090. Climb and maintain 11,000. Beach 881. H881. Contact Las Vegas approach on 125.025. 125.025 for H881.
Now we're going the right direction. Oops, I didn't mean to put that. Hit the wrong button. There we go. Turn there.
Las Vegas approach. Beach Kilo Juliet 7881. Just climbing through 9,700 for 11,000. Beach Kilo Juliet 7881. Las Vegas approach. Roger. Altimeter 2992.
So here's where we took off from. And there's Vegas right there. All the casinos.
H881. Contact Los Angeles Center on 124.625. H199er. Turn right heading 290. Descend and
Pretty good
maintain
detail. I mean,
5,300.
for a game that's as old as it is, it's pretty good, at least with the main cities and stuff, to see the whole strip right there. It's pretty cool.
Heading 290. Descend and maintain 5,300.
And hopefully we'll get a nice view of the Grand Canyon.
199er. Turn right heading 320. Las Vegas approach. Beach Kilo Juliet 7881 with you.
So there was our scenery for
altimeter 2992. Beach 881. Turn right heading 115.
Alright.
Resume on navigation. Turn right heading 115. Resume on navigation. Beach 881.
110 should be about there. This time I'm gonna read it right.
Turn right heading 290.
And you can see that's gonna put us right on there. So what we're gonna do is switch to our GPS and then turn to the nav. So we're gonna switch to GPS, navigation, and now we're gonna be just following our GPS plan here. Were we cruising at 11,000? Is that what we ultimately were going to get to? I don't know. I think that'll be just fine. So we can turn some lights off here. Turn those off.
Turn right, heading 350. Beach 199. Beach 199. Has the runway in sight.
We're going pretty good clip here.
You are 10 miles south to descend and maintain 4,500. Cleared visual. Runway 35. Right approach. Contact Henderson Tower on 125.1.
Let's pull back a little bit. We don't need to be going full bore right now.
Descend and maintain 4,500. Cleared visual. Runway 35. Right approach. Tower on 125.1. Beach 199.
RPMs and everything look fine.
Descend and maintain 5,300. Las Vegas departure. Beach November 5742.
Let's see if we go about 200 knots. That would be good. I think though that the airport that we're going to fly into, you know what, we have the ability to see where the heck we're going. It's going to be a little bit of a lengthy flight. So that's why I was saying I don't know if I'm going to cut out. So we're going there, and then we're going up here. And yeah, this is where we're going to end up. It does have an ILS frequency, so it'll all depend. But the conditions are good enough that even if we don't have an ILS, if they have us coming in on 21, it shouldn't be a problem. Although the way that they have us approaching, I mean, runway 3 would be 30 degrees, so that would be it right there. So that would be ideal. I mean, it would just make landing a little bit easier. But again, conditions are suitable that if we had to do it completely by visual, we could absolutely do that.
1 o'clock, 13 miles. Turn right heading 350. Descend and maintain 5,300. Report runway in sight. Turn right heading 350.
Usually once you clear out, at least on my computer is, just so you know, it's a laptop. It's a CyberPower PC. I'm running, oh gosh, an i7. I want to say it's a 3 series or whatever, but it's a quad core, hyper-threaded. So essentially, and I put this in quotations, 8 cores. I got 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I've got NVIDIA 675MX graphics card with 4 gigabytes of GDR4 memory on board. So, and just run 1080p 17-inch monitor. I got this laptop, oh gosh, back like in 2011, 2012, and just because of the nature of my job, I've always been a laptop person versus a desktop. Yes, I know desktops are more powerful and all of that stuff and cheaper, but when I look at when I bought this laptop, it was about $1,400, $1,450, but I've still been able to play like all my AAA games and things like that on this thing, and it's 2017. So when I look at the investment of that money over a 6-year time span, for me it works fine. So, probably within a year or so, I'll probably think about getting a new laptop. Or, this laptop's really been doing very well. I'm sorry, it's not a cyber power, it's an iBuy power. My fault. And I've had very little issues with this. The only thing I had is the battery go, but I mean that was a year and a half ago, so it's like 5 years out. Bought a new battery and it works fine. Um, and my wife and I, we both use the laptop, so I gave her her own profile, and I've got my own profile and stuff. Um, I'll tell you, I'm a chemistry teacher, and I also teach physics as well. And so I do a lot of online videos for my classes and things like that. And this computer is able to do that perfectly fine and render it in a reasonable amount of time. I render all my videos at 1080p. Even if, like in a gaming one like this, where, let's see, what am I getting FPS wise? Yeah, I'm getting fluctuations between 40 and 60 right now.
November 5127 Victor, Las Vegas departure, Roger. Altimeter 29992. Going to 134.65.
But a lot of the games that I would play, I play Xbox when I can. Let me get through this real quick. Games I play on there, I'm big on sports games, so I'm a big FIFA player. I'm a varsity soccer coach at the school. I like my college football. If you've seen my desktop, I'm a Clemson alum. Let's see. Let me see that Beach King area. Yep, there it is.
Contact Los Angeles Center on 134.65. Beach 881. Have the Beach King Air inside.
So,
Beach 510. Have the Beach
I guess unless you're like one of those, it's like I must have a 4K gaming rig and blah blah blah. Laptop gaming, setups.
Beach 510.
It's weird. Asked us to contact. One 134.65.
755.
I don't know. If they want us to go to that house again. Anyways, so, back to, laptops and stuff. So I do a lot of sports games. I do some RPGs. Like, I'm big, I've just gotten back into Metal Gear Solid 5. And that actually stemmed with, I just had major back surgery about 6 weeks ago. And so, when I was laid up, I was looking for something to get back into, and I had already beaten it and started getting in more into the end game, so I've been playing that for a little while. But I'm not a big FPS shooter person. I do like the Treyarch Zombies games, so your Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3. Big zombie, I love zombies. When I can get together with my friends. So, the NBA 2Ks, a lot of that stuff I play on the console. On the PC, obviously I do FSX. I do. Let's see where some other games I play. StarCraft. I haven't played Diablo 3 in a while. I was big into Diablo 2. I like playing some of the old school games, the games I grew up with back in the 90s, like your Police Quest, Sierra games, things like that. So I have the Sierra bundle on Steam. So my gaming genre is kind of all over the place. I've really been getting into the FSX lately, and really kind of been enjoying that and learning about it. For me, you know, I'm
American
a
Pacific
I'm a chemist,
269er.
and I just have that natural like wanting to learn things, and this game allows me to do that and actually learn about real life things. I've mentioned in previous videos about a friend of mine who's a commercial pilot. He flies for I think it's American, and I'm able to talk with him about some of the stuff here, and he's baffled by like how authentic this is. And I actually was having some issues because I was playing around with some of the like different types of like free add-ons and stuff, and I had to do a complete reinstall of FSX just like the other day. And I also have the Rex textures, so those are installed. But I'm running in the DX9 mode. I have problems with DX10. I know there's the Steve thing, but it, it's not. The game's really not optimized for it. And I go from 40 to 60 FPS down to 30, and it's not that
Las Vegas
noticeable of a
departure,
difference for
orbit
me to care. I mean,
4239er. This climb
this looks
into
pretty good.
2,900 for 15,000. Orbit
I
4239er,
mean,
Las
I keep,
Vegas
playing
departure,
textures are
roger.
great. The
Altimeter
cloud, sky,
signer
weather.
2.
I mean, we saw the Las Vegas
Orbit
Strip. I mean, right now we're
4239er,
just
please turn
flying
left
over like
heading 125
desert.
for speed on course. Climb and
We're
maintain
not.
15,000. Turn left heading 125, proceed on course. Climb and maintain
So
15,000. Orbit 4239er.
don't bat. People that get gaming laptops. I mean, they're always the master race of everything. People have legit reasons for it. For me, it's the portability and being able to go from one place to the other, um, and being able to move around in my house as need be. So that's for me. That's what I like. I mean, for right now, I'm sitting in my recliner, comfy, and just flying away and just chatting with y'all. And that's just the way I roll. So I've been a laptop person for a long time, and probably not going to change that anytime soon. Especially with how powerful some of these laptops are coming out now, especially with like the ones that have like the 1060s and 1070s in there. I mean, good grief. What I'd like to see more of is some of the laptops when you're getting into the 1070s or even maybe the 1060s, having them with the 1440p displays instead of the 1080. Because I mean, graphics cards for that's just overkill for 1080p. But 1440, that's perfectly suitable for those cards, and you don't have to waste the money. Don't worry about the 4K stuff unless you're going to hook it up to an external monitor, which I sometimes do with this laptop. I have a 1080p like big screen monitor upstairs in my office, but it's hard to find some of those computers there. And then of course if you get the 1440, you want to get it with a G-Sync, and so now at least right now you're probably looking between $15 and $2,000 for a laptop of that kind of a quality. So probably within a year, those are going to start to come down, be more readily available, and more in that $1,500 to $1,300 price range. Of course, if you got hey, if you guys got some suggestions on some, let me know and send them and put them in the description, because I am looking to upgrade. Like I said, probably within a year or so. But well, I think let's just take a look, see at where we're at. Oh, so we're getting ready to make our turn. And head up through here. There's really not much more to deal with here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause this and kind of cut the video here, and then I'm going to resume it once I start seeing some of the good scenery like the Grand Canyon, and we're starting to get our information on the approach, and we'll pick the video back up there. So just hang on. I'm going to zip through this real quick. That way you guys aren't having to sit here with, literally dead airspace, me talking more about stuff. So anyways, I'll pick you guys up once we get closer to the Grand Canyon. All right, we're back. And if you remember earlier in their fight, we had that issue where they asked me to switch to a station and then spot an aircraft. I spot the aircraft, then switch the station. They ended up canceling my flight plan, so I had to reload it and get it all set up. So this might be an interesting approach. We'll see. So I just got it that we're 40 miles west and we're turning right heading 085, descend, maintain 8200. So we're going to go ahead and at least get that part set up here. And yeah, we're going to really descend pretty quick here. And then we are getting an ILS, an ILS-3. So we do need to change. We're going to go 085. So that's about there-ish. And I need to know what the frequency is for the runway. So yeah, here we are. 3108.9. Okay. So shift 2. We say 108.9. All right. And we'll get back into this. I'm going to drop the throttle a little bit because we are going to descend. We're going to be
Los
descending.
Angeles Center, Global Freeways 1906 with you. Global Freeways 1906, Los Angeles Center, roger. Altimeter 2992. Turn right heading 085, descend and maintain 8200. Expect vectors ILS, runway 3, approach, beach 881.
Some flaps here, so it's going to slow us down a little bit.
Los Angeles Center, World Travel 7117 with you, flight level 340. World Travel 7117, Los Angeles Center, roger.
Turn our landing lights on.
Orbit 1780 heavy. Traffic is 9 o'clock, 3 miles. At flight level 310, Bombardier CRA 700. Report them in sight. Orbit 1780 heavy. Have the traffic. Pacifica 6648. Traffic is
We're
11 o'clock,
way,
1 mile.
way
Flight level 349
above the
Boeing
glide slope.
747. Report them in sight. Pacifica 6648. Traffic in sight.
We're going to need to descend. We are picking up
Los Angeles Center,
station.
November 0532 Tango with you. Beach November 0532 Tango, Los Angeles Center, roger.
I don't know why we're not getting a call to. See the airport there over in the distance. I think that's it right there. This could be interesting.
Beach 881, you are 500 below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 8,200. Altimeter 2992. Climb and maintain 8,200. Beach 881.
see if they're going to transfer us over or how this is going to work.
H881, turn left heading 060. Turn left heading 060, beach 881. Los Angeles Center, beach November 0078, Mike with you, flight level 240. Beach November 0078, Mike, Los Angeles Center, roger. Shore 2167, Los Angeles Center,
Alright, now we're
roger.
good. There's the runway right there. I think they got us okay. We'll see what we have on the approach. I just feel like we need to come more this way and then come in that way. We'll see. But I think we'll be alright. Interesting flight. Makes it eventful. And there's, I believe, the Grand Canyon right there. So, hopefully we can land this bird. Let's see. Yeah, we're still holding steady. Just a little bit more throttle.
H881, turn right heading 115.
I was wondering when that was going to happen.
Turn right heading 115, beach 881.
115 is there. So we are now below the glide slope, so that's a good thing. So at least I think so on this one. We'll see.
Orbit 1780, heavy. Traffic is 12 o'clock.
That's why I thought they were going to come this way, and then we'll make a left turn in, acquire the ILS.
Orbit 8153, traffic is 11 o'clock, 2 miles. Flight level 351, Boeing 747, report them in sight.
I think we're okay altitude-wise, because remember, you gotta just understand it's about mean sea level, so I think we'll be just fine. No turbulence there. Still not hitting at 115. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's my glide slope, so we are below it, so we're fine. I don't know what I was thinking of. I'm thinking of the other aircrafts where it comes down through here, so we're fine. This is about our lineup, I think. I think these have to come to let us know that we're lined up properly. So we are perfectly fine as far as
World Travel 2265, traffic alert, 6 o'clock, less than 1 mile, flight level 330.
we will be perfectly
Boeing
fine.
MD-80, report them in sight.
And this is also the kind of the cool part is like in my other videos, I'm always flying out of New England, so everything's like at sea level. I'm not familiar with the airports, so
881, turn right heading 150.
it makes it a little bit more exciting for me and more of a challenge.
881.
So 150. There we go.
Pacifica 939 traffic is 10 o'clock, 4 miles. Flight level 230, H in air, report them in sight. H32 Tango, traffic is 2 o'clock, 3 miles. Flight level 250, Boeing MD-80, report them in sight. H881, turn left heading 120.
Yes, ma'am.
Left heading 120, beach 881. H881, you are 17 miles southwest, turn left heading 060, descend and maintain 2,200. Cleared ILS, runway 3, approach. Maintain maintain 8,200 until established on the localizer. Contact Canyon Tower on 119.0. Turn left heading 060. Climb and maintain 8,200. Cleared ILS. Runway 3. Approach. Maintain 8,200 until established. Tower on 119.0. Beach 881.
There we go.
Canyon Tower. Beach Kilo Juliet 7881 is 16 miles southwest. Inbound ILS. Runway 3. Approach. Beach Kilo Juliet 7881. Canyon Tower. Fly straight in. Runway 3. Altimeter 2992. Make straight in. Runway 3. Beach 881.
We have the localizer, so I'm just going to click us on approach. So barren. I've never been to the Grand Canyon. The furthest west in real life I've been is Oregon, actually. And that was to visit some friends. And that was, oh gosh, it must have been like 13 or 14. So that was early 90s. Give you an idea of my age. Let's see. We should be making a left turn shortly. And here we go. We picked up the localizer. And we'll start turning into it. I'm hoping. There it goes. Nice, easy left bank. Let's see if we can see the runway lights. Speed's good. About 120 knots. Which is fine for right now. And then we'll just adjust throttle. This is our heading indicator. I could align this so you can see where we're kind of headed towards. Up there. So we're pretty much lined up. And then once we intercept this right here, then we'll start to see the glide slope indicator coming down. So it's doing its best to get us lined up. Goes back a little bit to the left. This was a nice, fun little quick flight, actually. Kind of enjoyed it. So, would I recommend the add-on? Yeah, it was $16, but you got the aircraft, which it's not a horrible aircraft. It's just not my favorite. And like I said, it has all these different flight plans. In fact, I'll show you what I mean. And like I said, I don't particularly care for the aircraft because it defaults to that every single flight, but the flight plans are good, and they're taking on some scenic tours and things like that. So it's your call. There's plenty of other sites out there. I've had people on Steam like point me to some of the other ones. Yep, we're intercepting the glide slope right now, where they give you plans to follow and stuff like that. So, considering that, like, just to get like an official like DLC aircraft, and there's the runway right there, is like about $20. The fact that I got all the flight plans and an aircraft, that's not too shabby. All right, so with this, when we see this dipping down, that means we're going to want to decrease our throttle. If this goes high, we want to increase our throttle. We want this to be, there we go. So we should come in for a pretty good landing here. Not my best landing, but just having a little bit of trouble there with the throttle, but we made it safely, which I guess is the most important thing. And we'll pause it there. Let's just take a look at this. I know I came in, I was either going to, well, I was coming in too slow and too fast, and the throttle with this. So that was on me. So it wasn't a textbook landing like I'm used to. So this one would have been hard. I didn't even see any of the pips there for guiding you in on your glide slope. But let's just take a look and see. Yeah. There. So now we're over the runway here. So now it's just trying to bleed off all that airspeed. I was coming in much faster than I really wanted to. But actually, not too bad. It was smooth. I didn't get as much of a flare, but that's okay. It wasn't like a really hard hit landing. So I'll take that. So anyways, so let me show you real quick what I mean. So we'll end the flight here. And so when you come in when you open it up and you just go to load, here's all the flights that came with the DLC. So they're all right here. But every single one of them requires you to fly this aircraft here. This one. Okay. Which, it's not a bad aircraft. I mean, it's pretty cool. Vintage aircraft and everything. So it's fun. The problem is that because of the way this tail part, when you're taxiing and everything, this is what you're trying to look at, and you can't see out this thinking window. And then once you get up to airway, to speed, this tail comes up when you're going to take off, and then you can see what the heck you're doing, and you can go from there. It does have all the instrumentation and everything built in. In fact, let me just load up one of these real quick. And I'll show you what I mean. So if we were to go, looks like Eugene, Oregon here. So Pacific, I'm just going to load it up just so you can see. what the aircraft looks like. And it doesn't have a lot of your control panels that you can pop up. Maybe I can go into the config settings and set those up, but I haven't done that. So this is the aircraft right here. Yeah, beach baby. All right. So turn the lights on there, but you can see, and even if I pull out, you can't see where the heck you're going. And I'll pull into the instrument panel here. So it does have a GPS, even though this aircraft wouldn't for the time. You do have your altitudes, your lights, and everything right here. But the only thing you can bring up in a sub panel, at least by default, is the GPS here. So, I've flown this a couple of times. It's not a horrible aircraft. It's just not one of my favorites, and I'm sure you have your favorites as well. So, you got your altitude, your autopilot, your comm stack right here. What else do you have? You have your somewhere. Oh, here's your pitch trim. Your flaps, GPS nav switch, your heading bug. Your VOR indicators, altitude, RPMs. You do have to be careful with this aircraft when you're flying it. It does, when you're looking at the engine manifolds right here, you can definitely get it way high on the pressure. So you got to pull your RPMs down. You can't keep this one throttled up like at full blast the entire time. Otherwise, it's depending on what your realism settings are, but mine, it'll damage the aircraft. So you just got to keep an eye on that. So you got your rate of climb and all of that stuff. So I mean, not bad. But see, now what I would do is I would load up a flight like that, end it, and then I would change to an aircraft that I wanted to fly. Let's just say this one here. And see, if I go in the flight planner, see, it has what was just loaded. And so then I could do, low altitude airways, IFR, find route, and there we go. So I can get the same basic flight plan, going from location to location, but I can fly in an aircraft that I want to. So, do I regret buying it? No. Although I do wish that they would allow you to select your aircraft for each of these. How many flights is it? 68. So, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. These were some ones that I had saved or whatever. But there's some pretty interesting ones that I'm looking forward to doing with you guys. But until next time, this is your captain signing off.